feel like grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Chippy's coming and he don't play games.
Boy, Lord Chippy, do we have some people for you. This first contestant, a man ran over pregnant ex-girlfriend with a Ford F-150. If that wasn't enough, he then, excuse me, blew her away with 40 caliber pistol, hail of bullets. At least 21 shots were fired. Now, I don't know how, again, just send this man to Greenland and unleash mountain lions. I'm done. A Missouri man is accused of running over his pregnant ex-girlfriend and then gunning her down last week, shooting more than 20 rounds at the woman, allegedly reloading at one point after running out of bullets following a recent breakup. R.L. Dawkins of Blue Springs is charged with first-degree murder for the shooting death of 42-year-old Brazen Kane last Wednesday along Morrill Avenue, according to Kansas City Police Department. Now, Dawkins' probable cause statement details how he fired off 21 rounds from a 40 caliber pistol while taking Kane's life. Now, neighbors and acquaintances of hers spoke with the police and allegedly blamed Dawkins for the killing. One person allegedly caught him in a cell phone video running over Kane and then shooting her as she's lying in the yard, according to a probable cause statement. Now, according to witnesses, the victim had recently broken up with Errol and she was pregnant with Errol's child. Noting that Dawkins allegedly confessed to an old high school friend of his who gives him haircuts, during the phone call, Dawkins confessed to him that he had struck Kane with his vehicle before shooting her. Now, footage obtained by Kansas City Police does show Dawkins getting out of the driver's seat of his Ford F-150. As the vehicle starts rolling backwards after striking Kane. Now he then points a firearm as she's lying in the yard and shoots her at close range. He walks toward the street, then again turns around. So he doesn't just shoot her when she's laying down once. He walks a couple steps, turns back around, and continues to shoot her because he's a tiny man with a small little wiener. Now, cops say that several 911 calls were received at the time from Dawkins' family, claiming that he had contacted them, confessed to the murder, along with threatening to take his own life. Now, he was later pointed out in a photographic lineup after he was located in Springfield through phone pinging by the police. Now, he is being held without bond in Greene County Jail. But expect to see more of this. This was obviously blatant, premeditated, and just awful. And hopefully, if they had any other children together, they're being taken care of, and the families are coming together and getting support. Because his family is also going to be dealing with a lot. And that's a part I think a lot of us forget, is that some of these defendants had families that tried to raise them right, that everyone else in the family did right, and they just will not choose right. And so there's a lot of shame and discomfort and sadness that comes from that. But he's effectively taken away his life as well. He's always going to be in prison. I mean, it just is such a waste. If you don't like someone, if you're not getting along together, then let each other go. Don't do this kind of crap. I will never understand it. In a story that could have been in final form, Jesus says, well, what in the name of all that is unholy, for goodness and hoodness, no. Goo goo gaga, a man wearing a diaper and a pacifier around his neck, confronted girls at an elementary school and asked if they would change him. Oh, sir, you're lucky you didn't do this in my hometown. I'm just saying you probably wouldn't have gotten out of the parking lot. Oh, sweet giblets. A Texas man is now facing criminal charges for allegedly confronting two young girls in an elementary school parking lot whilst wearing a diaper and a pacifier around his neck with nothing else, while allegedly shouting, "Goo goo gaga, I need a diaper change." Wesley Worrell, 45, he is a couple chromosomes, well, short of Homo sapien. That's all I got to say. He's a couple chicken strips away from a basket, okay? Now, apparently, he is accused of approaching children last Wednesday in the parking lot of Andy Woods Elementary School in Tyler, Texas. Now, he's charged with criminal solicitation of a minor and criminal trespass for allegedly coming up to the kids as they were riding around with bikes and scooters in the area. Now, the public information officer, Eddie Urbaugh of Tyler Police Department, confirmed to Law and Crime on Sunday that Worrell was identified and arrested at his place of work later in the day after, figuring out who he was in a lineup. Now, his arrest affidavit, which was obtained by local ABC affiliate KLTV, said that the youths rode to the resident's home and alerted two people that allegedly what had happened to them. They were visibly shaking and truly petrified, according to the affidavit. Now, will you change my diaper for me is something that he allegedly asked them before the kids fled. Goo goo gaga, I need a diaper change is allegedly all he was saying. Now, the girls were so frightened that they fell down, skinned their knees, while trying to reach the two residents. They both claimed that a scary man was chasing them. Now, police records show that Worrell has a laundry list of previous charges, dating all the way back to 1999, with arrests for stalking and looking at children in an inappropriate way. Oh, hell no, sir. You go on Snake Island and you stay on Snake Island. It's obvious you can't be in society, so you go to Snake Island. Including one incident where he was caught with his hands in his shorts. Now, when cops asked him why, he reportedly told him that he was checking his diaper. Nope, this one just doesn't want to live in society with us, Your Honor. He goes directly to Snake Island. He asked if we could make fetch happen, and we can't. In one of these sadder stories from this morning, and especially with myself and knowing how hard hospitals and any sort of medical issues are incredibly hard on not only adults but children, this mother needs to be set to the center of the sun and not allowed to come back. Removing blood from his body, a mother allegedly tortured her 3 children by faking medical diagnoses and stole Medicaid funds. Now, one child said bleeding made his body feel sick and sleepy. So another Minnesota, what the hell's wrong with you? A Minnesota woman will spend decades behind bars for a horrifying and bizarre regime of abuse and torture meted out to her children, authorities announced this week. Now, in June, Jordan Borders, 35, was convicted on all 11 charges against her, including 1 count of attempted murder, 3 counts of child torture, 3 counts of stalking, and 4 counts of theft by false representation, according to the Minnesota's Attorney General's office. Now, on Thursday, she was sentenced to spend 468 months, or just shy of 40 years, in state prison by Crow Wing Judge Patricia Anyes. Now, Borders' crimes are some of the most hideous and agonizing I've seen in my time as an Attorney General. Attorney General Keith Ellison said in a statement, "I'm praying for her children's recovery from the trauma and suffering they endured." Now, details of what the victims went through are particularly disturbing. Quote, Borders' acts included, but were not limited to, engaging in medical child abuse by performing specific acts against her children that led to them presenting with false medical conditions to their providers, according to the Attorney General's office. Now, this included Borders forcibly withdrawing blood from her then 9-year-old child prior to his doctor visits with a syringe. Now, other methods of blood extraction used by the mother on her children included catheters, such as PICC lines, which were inserted into smaller veins, and a central line, which could be inserted into major arteries. Then she would present at the child's doctor, showing that these children had dangerously low red blood count cells, or different counts because she had removed blood prior to them getting a blood panel. It's going to look like they're low on a lot of electrolytes and different things. Now, law enforcement began investigating this particular defendant on May 2022 after the hemoglobin issue became unavoidable for staff at Children's Hospital. Now, a search warrant was executed at her home in Cross Lake, a town located about 150 miles northwest of Minneapolis. Now, she was arrested in November 2022. A probable cause affidavit details the blood extraction scheme. So it definitely looks like she was Munchausen by proxy, or I think they call it fictitious or fractious disorder by proxy. So she was faking illnesses, including forcing, the children to wear boots, like the portable boots. So instead of getting a cast for like if you break an ankle, generally they're putting you in a boot now, like a walking boot. So she would have her children, wear boots or cast or neck braces, even if they didn't have any fractures, while diagnosing them with brittle bone disease. Now, she does not have a medical license. Now, it wasn't just, this abuse wasn't just limited to medical issues. Boarder's three children all testified that, she would hit them with charging cords, belts, and spoons. They also testified that they would have to stand outside in the cold without clothing. And, food and other things were regularly withheld from them. Now, the defendant was also convicted of defrauding the Land of 10,000 Lake Medicare program to the tune of about $18,000. This was done by falsifying symptoms for her children, then basically presenting herself to be the child's caregiver under certain Medicaid things. If your family member is marked with a disability that could be considered eligible for home health care, sometimes you have family members who will sign up and get certified to do that. But this was not that. This was her purposely injuring her children so they would get into the hospital and then claiming disability and becoming their caregivers. So she will be in prison for 40 years, and I don't expect her to ever see the light of day again. I really don't. I don't think she needs to, and I don't think it would help communities if she got back out for any reason. Now, those are our Lord Chippy, contestants for the day. And Monday came out swinging. Monday chose violence, apparently.